So many people ask me, whoa, where are your Strats? Where are your Strats, man? I gotta say that a good Strat, you don't need a lot of them. Like, there's a sound that a Strat gives you. I love Strats, but I've always been like a Les Paul PRS guy. But over the years, I've accumulated some pretty rad Strats. So today, we shall go through some Stratocasters, if that's okay by you. And if you have not already, please subscribe and like. And if you dig Strats or guitars, please share this. Please. I got this guitar for $200 because I worked at Circuit City, and the guy that did the alarm system, he saw me one morning playing guitar at Circuit City. And he's like, I got a guitar. I got this 80s. It's an 83 Strat, man. I never played it. It's just been sitting in the case. And at the time, I didn't have a lot of money, and I was like, dude, I can't really afford that. He's like, I'll give it to you for $200. I'm like, you take $50 increments? He's like, yeah. So over 4 weeks, and he gave me the guitar right off the bat. I paid for this guitar for $200. And I have since learned it is a Dan Smith era Strat. As you could see, most Stratocasters will have 3 knobs. Not the Dan Smith era. There's all wood here. And here's the pickup jack. So it just goes out versus in. But that's a thing. It was the Dan Smith era. I didn't know any better. And back when I was young, I customized things. So I took out the old school 80s tuners, which are still in the case, by the way, and put these Spurzell locking tuners on there. Sacrilege, I know. And I had AGI lace get me these chrome covered Strat pickups. I don't know exactly what they are, but they sound righteous. But I always thought there was something cool about covers on Strat pickups, because it's like, you know, what Billy Gibbons or Joe Perry does. It's not what you expect a Strat to look like, to have these beautiful covers. And then I got this pick guard from Antonio Tsai, and his shop, not always the best instruments, but insane inlays. Now, I'm not going to say that all the holes lined up either, but fortunately my boy Josh at J&P Guitars was kind enough to lacquer this thing and figure out how to make this all work and all that nice stuff. But I've always loved this. I think that this guitar calls me from across the room with this bird on it, because I'm a sucker for inlays and certainly for flame maple. This is also a very strange tremolo system that you only see on these Dan Smith era guitars. So even just this bar alone, if I were to sell it on Reverb, there's some guy going, I'll give you $300, please. Just let me complete my Dan Smith era guitar. There's no cavity on the back, guys. There's no cavity. Look at that. Dan Smith era, 1983. And I love that it's in like the Yngwie Malmsteen yellow. It's like in that snotty, faded yellow. Faded snot. That's what I call this color. Great segue. Because here's my 1991 Yngwie Malmsteen Japanese guitar. It does have changed tuners to Spurzells. Some guy did that. But it has the bullet truss rod. It has the huge giant headstock. And this is before he had his own YJM pickups. I love the white on black. I mean, so classy. And this is the mystically rare faded sonic blue. Now, it's not seafoam. There are Yngwie Malmsteens in seafoam, and there's Yngwie Malmsteen guitars in sonic blue. This is the one that's in faded sonic blue, which they only made for 1 year in Japan. And I have not seen another one, and I know there's a guy on the internet with like 700 Yngwies. He's never met Yngwie, which is weird to me. He's got all these Yngwie guitars, but he doesn't have this one because he wasn't willing to spend the insane amounts of money that I basically had to cough up to get this guitar, because I wanted it. And it's got the scallop fretboard, but with a lot of the earlier Yngwies, especially the Japanese ones, people say, are the American ones better? Are the Japanese ones better? As far as guitars are concerned, they're the same to me. But if you like scallops, what they said is they weren't set up for scalping back in the day. So the scallops are a little bit weak on this. They don't go right to the edge. Now, personally, I go enough to the edge in my life that I don't need my scallop to go there. And it still feels pretty scallopy to me. But if you're a true Yngwie fan and you want to feel nothing but steel, get an American one. But it won't be faded sonic blue. We'll continue going down the color wheel. This is my first Strat ever. It is an American Texas special. It came with a Seymour Duncan humbucker and 2 single coils. I got it for $400. My boss always said, hey, as long as we make $100, I don't care. Sell it to your friends for whatever. So I sold it to myself. In fact, I put it underneath my friend Matt Stacy's name. So I sold this guitar to Matt Stacy. And I kept putting like, $50 here, $25. I'm at like $340, and my boss comes in and he goes, hey, there's a guy coming in to look at that Fender you sold to some one of your friends. I think I'm going to sell it for $1,000. Called my mom super fast. Like, Mom, I need $75 pronto. I got this guitar on layaway, and Mark is going to sell it on me. He doesn't know that Matt Stacy is just a figment of his imagination. Thankfully, Mrs. Goodman came through, gave me my $75. I took this guitar home, and then continued to send it to a certain friend of both of ours that bastardized it. Didn't look very good. I put the 3 pickups in, and it kind of looked like, nah! So then I realized that not everybody can put in pickups awesome and make a guitar look good. So I sent it to my buddy Josh at JMP Guitars, who was kind enough to put these 3 drop and gain AGI lace sensor pickups in there, which are ridiculous sounding. They're high output passive pickups. What we also did is we put on a Fishman piezo bridge with preamp. So not only does this have 3 humbuckers, but it can go to acoustic or acoustic and electric. You can also tap the pickups. I believe you can tap this pickup and tap this pickup, and this is the volume. 5-way, rosewood, Spurzell locking tuners. It does like have this teal kind of blue. I don't know the exact color, but it's awesome. And I certainly love it with this pick guard. The original pick guard was a lot more white. This is more ivory. But this is, again, what I did when I was like 18, 19 years old to guitars. Man, I always talk about Guitar Center when they were just blowing out their platinum rooms. I dream of it. In fact, like one of my fantasies, it's like up here is like Ariana Grande naked on an island. And then like way up here, that's not even true. I don't even think she's hot. Sorry. She could sing though. She could fucking sing, and she's amazing. And man, that girl can dance. She looks like a 5-year-old. I dream one day of turning back the clocks to that day that they decided, hey, we're going to blow out the platinum room. We're just going to give all these beautiful PRSs and Gibsons and Fenders, all this vintage stuff, and we're just going to blow it out because we think we're going chapter 11. This is one of those guitars. It's a hardtail 1976 Fender Stratocaster, and it only weighs 6 pounds exactly. It's 6 pounds exactly. It's literally the lightest Strat that I've ever had. And all these Fender Strats from the 70s, they say, oh, they're all so heavy. And I didn't even believe it was real. I actually took it apart and even almost returned it. I had the people at the Guitar Center Hollywood verify it again, and then I went on the internet down like the whole. And this guitar is real. It's real. 6 pounds. Looks like it belonged to David Gilmour, which is the other reason I love it, because it's got the black guard, the white pickups, and the white knobs, other than it doesn't have a tremolo. But I love the fact it doesn't have a tremolo because it's got endless sustain, and it's so freaking light. And the 3-bolt neck thing. This is one of the things you can tell if it's from the 70s. You want to be educated? The newer ones. 4. During the 70s. 3. I don't know what year exactly because I don't really care about Strats. When I got this, the frets were totally burnt on it. So I did what any man should do if you have a 70s Fender Strat with burnt frets. I put bass frets in it. That's right. I love jumbo frets. Man, imagine if you just put small bass frets in instead of like large jumbo frets. Dude, that'd be cool. This is small bass wire. And I gotta tell you, man, every one of my friends that comes down here and plays this guitar is always like, dude. And I think it's because the action's a little bit high to accommodate the bass frets on my 76 David Gilmour hardtail Strat. That is very real. despite the fact that I couldn't believe I got it for $15.99. Which brings me back to my dream. I just wish that Guitar Center had all those guitars again, and I could just go back and buy all the other ones I didn't buy. My COVID relief fund.
Why don't you smash that subscribe button already?